Ravindra, tell me.
Yeah, Naidu sir, recording is ready.
Okay.
And all the co-hosts can access and can control the recording. So you may pause it anytime, you may resume it anytime. But just don't stop it unless the program is over.
Right. Yeah, Namisha, please go ahead.
Okay. So should I start now?
Yes, please.
So, good morning, everybody. I am Amisha Kandadi on behalf of FIC-ARSD extends a very warm welcome to our esteemed guest speakers, Dr. Manoj Kumar Pandey and Subhanil Chaudhary, our convener, Dr. Pala Naidu, our guest of honor, Mrs. Manju Pandey, all the faculty members, and all my peers. FIC-RSD is elated to present a two-day workshop on statistical softwares for data analysis. This workshop is possible only because of the guidance and constant support of our principal, Dr. Gyantosh Kumar Jha, and our convener, Dr. Pala Naidu. I would also like to extend a note of thank you to Dr. Vinita Tulli, webinar convener, for making it possible in such time. So, without any further delay, I would like to call our guest of honor, Mrs. Manju Pandey, Senior Faculty, Department of Economics, ARSD College, to present the inaugural speech.
Good morning, everyone. I, Mrs. Manju Pandey, from Department of Economics, welcome you all to a two-day workshop on statistical software for data analysis, Stata, our studio, organized under the aegis of IQAC, ARSD College, University of Delhi, in collaboration with Finance and Investment Cell. Numbers have an important story to tell. They rely on you to give them a clear, truthful, and convincing voice. To enlighten us on the statistics and data analysis, we have today our two distinguished speakers, Dr. Manoj Kumar Pandey, lecturer in economics, Australian National University, and Dr. Subhanil Chaudhary, assistant professor, Institute of Development Studies, Calcutta. We welcome you both. I also welcome our principal, Dr. Gyantosh Kumar Jha, who is a constant source of inspiration, motivation, and guidance. Our special and deepest thanks to Dr. V.K. Arora, convener IQAC Cell, and Dr. Vinita Tulli, convener webinar committee, and the entire team. I hope this workshop will be of great help to the students, research scholars, and faculty of the different colleges and universities. My best wishes to all. Now I hand over to my colleague, Dr. Pala Naidu, convener, Finance and Investment Cell, Department of Economics, for further proceedings. Over to you, Dr. Pala. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. A very good morning to one and all present over here. So I, Dr. Pala Naidu, behalf of Finance and Investment Cell and IQAC, the Atma Sanatan Dharma College, Department of Economics, University of Delhi. I express my gratitude to our dynamic principal, Professor Gyantosh Kumar Jha, for providing an encouragement and support always. We are thankful to him for giving us an opportunity to organize this two-day workshop, that is statistical software for data analysis, Stata and R Studio. I extend my sincere thanks to our convener webinar team, Dr. Vinita Tulli, for always being their support, and particularly the technical team, the Ravindra Pant and Manvendra Yadav, and other webinar team members in the college. So no program can be successful without unfulfilled support of our webinar team. And also, I heartily thanks to all my senior teachers and my colleagues and all my team members to encourage, to support, participate their continuous hard work, participate in this workshop. We're grateful to our patients, particularly our participants, who cooperate with these words, kind message. We move forward to this workshop in this 2 days, 6th and 7th March. So it gives me immense pleasure to welcome our distinguished speakers, Dr. Manoj Kumar Pandey, a lecturer in economics at the Development Policy Center for the Crawford School of Public Policy at the Australian National University. And also visiting lecturer in economics, School of Business Public Policy, University of New Guinea and Port Moresby. And Subhanil Chaudhary as assistant professor in Institute of Development Studies, Kolkata. And also he's published so many, several publications, several books, particularly Indian Journal of Labor Economics, Economic and Political Weekly, some other reputed journals. He was also worked with some other distinguished areas, that is the globalization, labor, economics, macroeconomic, econometrics, so on. So I welcome you all, Professor Monash Kumar Pandey and Professor Subhinil Chaudhary. Thanking you for your giving us time in your busy schedule, and our FSC team to can proceed the program. Wow to you, Namisha. Thank you very much, sir. I welcome you to all to giving your offer. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Now, moving forward, I would like to call Shubhi Kaushik, a member of our team, to for the introduction of our esteemed guest speaker, Manoj Pandey, sir. Shubhi, over to you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Namisha. Good morning, everyone. Before moving forward, please note that we are disabling the chat and muting everyone except the speaker so as to avoid any interference during the workshop. If anyone has any query, they can raise their hand during the Q&A session and host or co-host will mute them. So moving further, I Shubhi Kaushik would like to welcome Dr. Manoj Kumar Pandey. I'm just sharing my screen.
Shubhi, if you have any audio output, please mute that.
So
If
I don't think
if you are
I
having
have.
any loudspeaker.
No, sir, I don't have. Like I'm using my earphones.
All right, go ahead, go ahead.
Okay, sir, is my screen visible?
Yes, you are.
Yes, Shubhi.
Yes.
Okay, so Dr. Manoj Kumar Pandey is a lecturer in economics at the Crawford School of Public Policy, Australian National University. He leads a team of academics involved in. Just wait a second, sir. Sorry. Yeah. He leads a team of academics involved in the Australian National University and University of Papua New Guinea partnership, a flagship program funded by Government of Australia. Under this partnership, he also holds a position of visiting lecturer in economics. He has been an adjunct fellow at the School of Economics, Faculty of Business and Economics, University of South Pacific, USP, Fiji. So wait a second, I think. Yeah, sir, I think my slideshow just stopped working.
Okay, you can continue, no problem. Slides, you can continue.
Okay, so he also held various research and teaching positions at National Council for Applied Economics Research. His field of research includes economics of aging, development, health, labor, gender, etc. And I would also like to welcome Ms. Neha Pandey, who is currently working at the Institute of Economic Growth. She is also pursuing Master of Data Science from University of Canberra, Australia. And thank you so much. We are looking forward to learn a lot from you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Shubhi.
Shubhi, you can stop your sharing screen.
Sir, I'm not able to stop it. Just I'm trying. Yeah, so it's done. Sorry for the inconvenience, sir. Thank you so much, sir. I think the slideshow is now stopped.
Thank you, Shubhi. So should we start now, Dr. Naidu?
Yes, sir, you can start.
All right.
I think actually,
so-
principal sir is engaged some other work. That's why he will not. He will join later. So you can continue. Yeah.
Thank you very much for the invitation, and it's great to see over 65 participants now, I think. So welcome everyone in this workshop. Special thanks to Mrs. Manju Pandey, special guest, Professor Gyantosh Kumar Jha, principal, Dr. Vinita Tuli, and Dr. Naidu, and your whole team for organizing this. And I'm very delighted to be part of this workshop. Partly also because Delhi University has contributed a lot in my career. So I did my master in statistics from University of Delhi, one of the North Campus college, Ramjas College, and then I did my MPhil from Department of Statistics, and then I worked with the Institute of Economic Growth and NCR. So, like, I spent almost 8 years in Delhi, and I taught with the FMAs to political science in the Department of Political Science in Delhi University and so on. So basically, it's a very special connection with the Delhi University. So when Dr. Naidu approached me, I could not say no. Even though semester here is on and it's difficult to find time during the semester when you are doing teaching and research. But thank you very much for invitation anyway. If there is no other formality, like I can start my Stata presentation. So Dr. Naidu, I seek your permission for that.
Yeah, sure, sir. Please.
All right. So I'm going to share my screen and let's see what we can do. All right. So yeah, Dr. Naidu asked me like what I'll be doing in Stata, and I could not say what I'll be doing basically primarily because teaching software using online is quite difficult, I would say, but also because teaching software in 2 days for a few hours is not enough. So I just thought to have Stata, and just my plan is to make sure that everyone understand how Stata works, and then basic statistics, some graphs and data management things can be done. So this is my plan. I will go slow, so please ask your questions if you need. We have Ms. Neha Pandey who can help you with your questions, but I think because chat is disabled, so please feel free to ask question, and I would be happy to answer as well. So without much delay, let's start with what is there in the Stata. So the first part of Stata, I would like to cover by introducing Stata, and then we will go through some of the Stata rules. Then we will learn how to write syntax in Stata. And then we will start moving into the data preparation part, where we will do some sort of preliminary data management commands we will see. And then I will introduce you with two very important files, do file and log file. So in part one, this is my agenda for Stata. I will use both PowerPoint slides as well as Stata simultaneously. So I will keep switching from one file to another. All right, so better to have like this so that I can have access to my everything. So basically, Stata is not new. Stata was created in 1985, and since then its demand has been increasing. Because I don't represent Stata, so I can't tell much about why it is happening. But then current version is Stata 16.1. And I remember when I started working on Stata, it was Stata 6. So like I'm using Stata for last, I think 17 years. So it's quite a good number of years when I use this software. I also used other softwares in between, but then Stata remained one of my most favorite software. Most of its users work in research, especially in the field of economics, sociology, statistics, epidemiology, biostatistics, and so on. So mainly, if you are looking for like some data management tools, statistical analysis, graphics, simulation, custom programming, I think Stata provides a lot of capabilities. Here is some, comparison across Stata, SPSS, SAS, and R. Comparison does not mean that because all softwares they are updating their versions and then new features are coming. So you can see which one suits here. So I'll not go through that. Within Stata, there are 4 different editions you will see. One is small Stata, the other one is interpool Stata, third one is standard Stata, and the Stata MP. So basically, these 4 types of 4 editions of Stata have a different capabilities and different capacities. For example, if you see in terms of number of maximum variables that is contained in Stata, small Stata has only 99 variables. You can't have more than that. Stata interpool is a bit larger version than the small one, and it contains 2048 variables. Stata standard 32,767, and Stata MP is I think 1,20,000 or something. So in terms of the number of variables, in terms of the maximum number of regressors, explanatory variables that you use in the regression, in terms of the maximum number of observation, these editions vary a lot. So the version that I use for my research is Stata MP, and primarily because it is the best edition of Stata in terms of, you can see the number of variables, number of regressors, number of observations, 20 billion. So population of the world is around like 7.5 to 8 billion. And you can, so it means that Stata MP can accommodate like 3 times the whole population of the world. So if you have information about everyone in the world, definitely it is going to, you can analyze in Stata MP, provided you have that big hard disk and your computer also supports it. In terms of the string variable, in terms of the matrices, again, Stata MP is better. So rest you can go through. Now, when you open Stata, you will see 4 windows. And let me show you how this window looks like. So one window is this, where my cursor is, if you can see. The other window is this one. So one is command window. The other window in between you can see here. I will name it soon. And then you can see variables, properties, right? So they are, and then command window. So there are 4 or 5 windows, but then if you go through these preferences, you can have a different load preferences. So this structure is not same, it varies depending on what kind of like combined layout or compact layout or wide screen layout, what you want. Okay, so like one version is this. Okay, so you can see here, this one was the, and you can adjust according to your need. The other one, if I just go through it, you can have, let's say, presentation. So this is a presentation mode. Now you don't see any difference, but then you can see that this output window, which is in the middle here, is bigger. And now you can write your commands, anything on the top rather than command window at the bottom. So depending on how you want to use your Stata, you can have a different types of Stata, compact layout. So this is a compact layout version. Here you can see that some of the like review window variables, these have gone. Okay. So when you open your Stata and you find like it is it doesn't look like familiar one, then it's a problem, right? You can increase or decrease font as well. So I'm going to use default one so that you don't have to worry much about what is happening here. But I just want to tell you that there are different windows, and your whole data analysis life will be, distributed here. If I say, so let me just go back to my presentation again, and you can see here. This is the first window, right? It's called variable view window. Here, all the variables that your data has will be listed here. So you can see name, label. So name of the variables like make, price, MPG, these are the variables. And label is make and model for make, price, MPG is mileage. I will talk about what is label. Then the second window is a review window. All those commands that you will be using in the command window later, it will be saved here. Okay. So past commands appear here. We will see that. The result window or output window is here where it says statistics, data analysis, special edition, and it talks about license to someone. So this is third one. Then you will see here working directory, like where your data is. So when I took this screenshot, the data, this data was in C/users/Pandey_M / documents. So you don't have to worry where your data. Sometimes we forget like where the data is, and this data will keep you reminding where your data is currently. So basically, it will tell you exact the folder or working directly where your data is. Then this is called command window, which is very important window. It's an input. You will write your command, Stata command here, and then execute it. And log status displayed here is a log on. We'll talk about what log on means, but log in, so you must know log on as well. So we'll see like how it works better. Then we have this sometimes variables window. In the previous one, you can see here variables window was here, but then in this version variable window is here. So you can adjust from one place to another. Some windows are permanent. You can't just replace them or close them, but some windows are optional. Like you can see here cross. You can see variables and then you can see cross here. If you click the cross, if you don't want these variables to be seen all the time, you can cross it. Similarly, properties, you can always cross it. Okay. So this is another version of, and then all the variable property will be here in the properties one. So you have variables, you have data, you have nodes, everything. So anything related to data, except that data itself, you will find on one of the other windows. Okay. And this makes it very interesting because then you don't have to worry about, you don't have to forget about your variables. You don't have to think much of much about what is happening, where is my data, what variable is that, and you will see it very user friendly. So one of the reasons why I like Stata personally is that it's very user friendly and it's quite intuitive. So if you know English, most of the commands work in the same way. Okay, for example, like if you want to rename, if you want to change the name of variable, rename command. If you want to replace some number, some values in the data, it's a replace command. So we will see it's quite intuitive, intuitive software. Then also you will be seeing that there are some, just like other softwares, you can see here, this is open, save, print, log file. We will go through that, viewers, do file, data editor, and so on and so forth. So if you know Office, if you know like MS Word or MS Excel, so most of the shortcuts, most of the, if you go here, you will see open, Control plus O. Control plus O also you use in Word or Excel, open Excel or Word files. Okay. And then you have Control C, Control V, select Control A, and so on. So it's quite intuitive software. All right. We will come through that. So by now, what we can see is that we should be able to open Stata, this one, without any data. And we should know that this review window is for reviewing command. This is a result window. This is variable window where all the variables are listed. This tells you about the properties of the variables, their names, label, type, format, value labels, nodes, etc. Okay. And then there are some properties of data as well, like file name, label, nodes, variables, observations, size, memory, sorted by. So everything you will have. So let me open our data. One of the characteristics, and which I really like about Stata, is that to learn Stata, you don't really need external data. Because sometimes what happens is that we really don't get data to learn, proper data to learn Stata. Stata has a lot of inbuilt. If you go to file, let me change font so that everyone can see it. Okay, that's too big probably. Okay. So I'm just changing font of all the windows so that it is quite clearly visible to everyone. Great. So one of the characteristics I was saying that which I like is that Stata has a lot of example data sets. So if you go to file, go to example data sets, and then you will see like this window here. So it says example data sets installed with Stata. So if you click here, you will get these data sets, and you don't have to worry much. You just click on use, and then those data sets will be open. Okay. So either you click use or you use the command. You should remember that's called sys use. Sys means system, use is you are using basically system data, and then the name of the database. So let me just use here. So I clicked on use, and this data is open. So the command that I talked to you, sys use, and then the name of the data is auto. Okay. Now probably this is too big, so let me just reduce the size. Here we go. So you can see that this data is open. Where is this data? Can you see? You can see the name of the variables, make, price, MPG, etc., etc. But where is this data? If you go here, you'll see data editor. It's called data editor, edit, and then data editor, browse. So we can use browse, and here is your data. Okay. So your make variable, price variable, MPG variable, headroom, trunk, weight, length, turn, displacement, gear ratio, foreign. Okay, so this data is already there. I didn't had this data outside my Stata. So if I am trying to learn something in Stata, I don't have to worry much about data from where I will get the data to learn Stata. It is already inbuilt here. Okay. Now, this is how I like about this is one of the things that I like about Stata, that you have data inside it. Then the next thing comes in is which we are going to cover is what are some of the rules that Stata follows. And it is quite important to know these rules, because unless you know these rules, you can't just use Stata. Because of the online nature of this workshop, and given that we have pandemic, like probably you will not be able to have much of hands-on practice. But then I have created a Google Classroom which you can join, and later on, once you find your software, you can always practice, and you can always get write to me and see if there is any problem. So when it comes to rules, sometimes a command contains a comma. The main part of the command comes before the comma. So you remember in the example that I did here, I use a command. This is called sysuse command. So let's say I clear this data. Now, all variables here have gone, right? And there is no data here. If you go back to this data, there is no data here. So my data at the moment is blank. All right. So if I want to practice Stata using a data that is inbuilt data in Stata, what I will do is I will use command sys use. Sys represents system use. Okay. And then I will, because I know the name of the data, I'll just use this. Sys use auto. And then when I enter, you know what will happen? That whole data will come. So here. So you can see, now you can see your data is here. All the variables are here. Okay. So one of the rule is that these commands must come before any data or any variable name. So that is the rule. Okay. But sometimes with a command, you need to put comma as well. Here you can't do that. But let's say I want to describe this data. Okay. So when you say describe, what are you expecting? When we said I'm going to describe this variable, or I'm going to describe this set of variables, what does it mean? It means whether it is an integer variable or whether it is a string variable, and what kind of variable it is, what it says. So let's say I say describe, just describe, okay, and enter. What is coming here? It says contains data from here. So where this data is sitting, when you install this data, your data will be sitting in this folder here. How many observations you have? 74. What is description of this data set? This data set contains information about 1978 automobile data. How many variables do we have? Number of variables we have is 12. Okay. Now, how do you know that it is correct? Count it: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So there are 12 variables here. And how do we know that there are 74 observations? We can go in the data and we can see this 1, 2, 3, 4 coming back here, 74. So this data, this command, describe command, will tell you what are the number of observations you have, how many variables do you have in the data set, and then it also describes variables name, then what kind of storage type it has, display format, value level, if there is any, and then a variable level. We will talk in detail what this variable level is, what this value level is, and how to write variable name. But let's look into this command, just to introduce a command here. This is make variable is string variable. Okay. And what is string variable? String variable is essentially a character variable. So like name of the model. So if you go through this data set, you will see some of these car models, like in India it's like Mazda, Honda Accord, Fiat, right? Toyota Celica, Toyota Corolla, Toyota Corona. It's a very notorious one, right? The word Corona has been very notorious now, but it has been there for a long time. So it has nothing to do with COVID. BMW, now Ford Fiesta, and so on and so forth. So these are different models, different make of the car. It has different price, mileage, headroom, trunk size, weight of the car, length of the car, turn, displacement, gear ratio, and whether it is domestically produced or foreign produced. Okay, so all this information is there. So you, with one command describe, you know that all the information about. So describe is a command. Okay, describe is a command. So there are rules of writing commands. Stata gives you, Stata thinks that when you are doing a lot of analysis, you might feel tired or you might be lazy by default, right? So Stata does not, and Stata does understand that. And then if you're not feeling like typing describe, like DESCRIBE, then Stata says, okay, don't type it. You just type first 3 letters. So for most of the commands, only 3 letters is required. So if you know describe, DES is the command. So you will get the same result with DES. You don't have to type everything. All right. You can see here. So with the DES also, it is working. Now you want to summarize these variables. So let's say I want to summarize price variable, or I want to summarize all the variables. Okay. This is interesting. So you'll have to reduce the size if it is not coming in one window. Okay. Now you can see what is happening here. Now you can increase the size so that. So what summarize command does here is variable. These are the variables we have. How many observations in each of the variables? How many? What is the mean of these variables? What is the standard deviation? What is minimum? What is maximum? So most of you, if you have used descriptive statistics in your research, or in your project, or in your course, you must be familiar with the mean, standard deviation, minimum, and maximum, right? So with one command, you can have everything here. Object mean value, standard deviation, minimum, and maximum. Now, one thing which I will also emphasize later, but because I'm just trying to impress you with this data, one question you might be also thinking, okay, fine, its result is there, but then how I will make this result in Word or Excel? Okay, how will I take this output in Word or Excel, because most of you will be writing your reports and assignments in Word or Excel. Okay, so it's quite simple. You can copy this, you can select like this here, and then right click. When you do right click, you will have copy table as HTML, copy as picture, select all, clear results, preferences, and so on. Now, if you want to take this to Word directly and present it, you can have a copy. If you want to go into the, if you want to bring this into Excel, you can have a copy table. Okay. So let's say I want to bring this result into Excel. Now, shortcuts are also given here. Control plus Shift plus C will make you copy table. So if you select it and then Control plus Shift plus C, it will make you copy. So go to Excel, open an Excel file like this, and then paste it. Okay, can you see it? This looks nice, isn't it? Now I will do all sort of like decoration here to have 1 digit, 2 digit, whatever ways you want. And then I will take this directly where? In Word file. So I'll say, okay, table 1, descriptive statistics. And I will paste it here. And then you will do some sort of like you can do a whole lot of decoration here. Okay, so you can do this. And done. Okay. Now, if you want to bold it, bold them as well. Isn't it a nice table? If you want to make it a bit more, you want to overload with this, you can do this. If you want to divide this into 2 or 3 groups, you can also do that. Okay. So how much time it took to create this table? Now, if you practice a bit, it will take hardly a minute. Just a command. What was the command? What I did? Summarize command. Summarize. Okay. Now, if you're lazy, you just put sum instead of summarize. Just say SUM. Okay. So, and then you can bring it to Excel to come here and then do it. And then rest of the things is in your hand. Right. So this is so Stata makes your life much easier. Now, suddenly you realize, okay, I want to have some calculation. Let's say I want to multiply this 500 something multiplied by something like, no, multiply with the Y. So with this number, right? If you want to multiply this will work as a calculator. You have a display command. Display of this multiplied by this number. And do you want to see what number this is? You just enter here and you will get this number. It's a very big number. So let's start with 500 multiplied by 10. Okay, you'll get 5,000. So if you don't want to bring your calculator, or it's very difficult to write something, you can do a lot of 4 plus 5 minus 2, board mass and so on. This will be using, this will use automatically. You don't have to make this calculation, it will do it. So this is quite user friendly in the sense that you can also do a lot of things without having data. Okay, so if you want to use it as a calculator, you have a display command. And display command is what? Basically, you are displaying the result. Simple. You are just doing your operations and you are just displaying it. All right. Now, let's directly copy this to Word file. Now, you might hate it then. Look, this looks like very weird, isn't it? Your result looks like very weird here. So what is solution? There is a solution here. There is a particular font for it. It's called Courier New. So if you go to your, most of us work with the Times New Roman and so on, right? So here is your Courier New, COURIER NEW. So I did Courier New, but still it is very weird. So I'll reduce size 8 or 9. Okay. So I'll do this. Now, does it look better? Is it better now? It will be better. Because so what does it we learn? We learn that Stata, the font that the font style that Stata use is Courier New, and the size will be like 8 or 9 depending on, like, this is 8, this is 7, this is 8, this is 9, this is 10, 11. Now 11, it has gone beyond that, right? But then if your layout is like landscape, then 11 is also fine. Okay, so depending on like your width, you can have your size, but then with portrait generally 8, 9 or 10 works depending on how much information you have. But still this cannot match with this format, right? So if you are presenting from presentation point of view, we have the same information here, but then if you directly bring from Stata, it will be different. Okay, so these are some of the things you can do in Stata. So as I say, sometimes only the beginning of the command is required. Some or SU is also fine. So if you don't want to write SUMM, it is SU also is fine for the summarize. But then you'll have to see, because some of the 2 or 3 beginning letters also match with other commands. So you'll have to be very careful with that. The third rule is that Stata is case sensitive. Later on, you will have R as well. Just like R, Stata is also case sensitive. So both the programming language, whatever program language used in Stata, they have Stata programming is different. But then Stata software is case sensitive. What does it mean? It means that it treats capital letter and small letter, okay, uppercase and lowercase differently. So let's go back here. Now, here is the price, right? You just click on the variable and then your variable name will come here. It treats, now you read both small lowercase price and the uppercase price same, but then Stata treat it differently. For Stata, this price is different than this price. Okay, so how do you recognize? it. Let's say I'm going to tabulate price. So I'm going to have a table of price. So tabulate price is this one. So you have price variable here, the numbers, and then you have frequency, then percent and cumulative frequency for all the 74 observations. Okay. Now I just put this price. What would you expect? Let's see. If it is not case sensitive, the same result you will be getting. But because it is case sensitive, Stata will say tabulate price not found. It means that any number, any word, any variable name, or anything that you are putting here, if it is uppercase and lowercase, it is different. So Stata recognizes differently. All right. So what is my advice? My advice to you will be that whenever you are using Stata, just forget about uppercase. Be consistent. Always use lowercase. Always use small letters. Okay. Because if you are using off and on upper and lower case, Stata will be rejecting your lowercase and uppercase difference. Okay, so what will happen is that you will have to do it again and again, and you will be frustrated. So just make a rule that you will be using all the time like this. Summary of price. This I want to describe price. Okay, right? I want to do tab stat. I want to tabulate statistics for price. But the moment I will write like this, it will reject. It will not accept. Okay. So that is the third rule, that Stata is case sensitive. And so it is advisable to use lowercase all the time. Now, another rule that you need to know is that you have to be careful with one equal sign and double equal sign, because Stata will be using both. Stata will be using both equal sign and double equal sign. Now, generally after if you are using if statement, if you have some programming understanding, there are if else statement in R and other languages. If you are using if anywhere in Stata, after if you should always put double equal, not the single one, because it will not accept. But then you don't have to worry, because if it will not accept, Stata will tell you what is the problem. That is also a very good feature Stata has. Stata will tell you, it will give you red message. It will say something is wrong. And then you'll have to find out what is wrong. And there are a lot of support is available if you search on Google, any problem related to Stata. And you will find it. You will find a video, you will find link, you will find Stata forum. So in terms of the support, you really don't need your lecturer or someone who knows Stata. You can do yourself. And because of this feature, I can tell you that I learned Stata myself. So it has been a long time, but at that time, not many people were around who could tell you how to, and I think most of lecturers, your lecturers, and Dr. Naidu will probably agree with me that we learn things from our own, like not much support was available. Because by then Google had already come, and then we could find out if there is any issue, there is an error. You'll have to spend a bit of time, but then if you want to leave this workshop and go and learn from yourself, I will have no problem, because you will get better lectures, better information, better materials there on the web for free. Okay, but because you have joined it, I would like you to stay here. just to show his strength with this spirit. Okay, it is good practice to give do files, log files and data files the same name. So another confusion, like we will be using do file, log files and data files. So if you're new in Stata, you would be like, thinking like what is do file, what is log file. So I will cover it. I'm just giving you, some sort of motivation before, but then we will learn what these files are. Stata cannot start a new log file while one is already open. This sounds obvious, but it is important to know. So you'll have to close the log file before opening another log file. So we will learn that. Then operators used in Stata. This is similar as most of them are similar as in Excel. If you have used it, like plus is for addition, you have a plus sign, subtract. You have negative, asterisk for multiply, slash divide, raised to power. Then Stata also use some logical and relational operators. So logical one is not. So you can see in your keyboard just below escape button, this not sign is there, and also one is just here, shift and is near backspace. Then you have or, which is shift plus backspace that you can have there, and everyone knows for a relational one, you have equal sign. As I said, that double equal and single equal is treated differently in Stata. Not equal, so you have logical not and then equal from the relational. And then less than equal, greater than equal. These are all, similar to what you do in Excel and other data analysis software or tools. Okay. Expressions used in Stata is also quite intuitive. You have absolute value of x, exponential of x, integer of x, log of x. You just have to write log of x. For example, like, I'm interested in log of price. So what I will do, I will generate a variable called log of price, and then actually it is log of, where is price here? Here. Okay, so I'll double click there, and then I will. So you can see here a new variable is created with the log of price. Okay, and if you don't believe me, let's go and look into the data. This is your price variable, and a new variable log of price is created here. So with one line, one command, generate log, you have just given a new name and then equal sign and then log of x. If I'm interested in exponential of price, then I will just change it quickly. Exponential of price. If I'm interested, price is also having decimals and so on and so forth. I am interested in integer, then I will just put int. Okay, so you can see here all these variables are. See, exponential is not calculated. Do you know why? Why exponential is not calculated here? Now it is already existing. Okay, so why it is not calculated here? It is exponential. Okay, so exponential of something like, where is this price? 4,099. Okay, so you'll have to think it. This is just an exercise for you, why it was not created, why it is all missing. Okay, you know the answer, so I'm fine. The price is 4099. This is already integer, so it will integer. But then if some number is like decimal, for example, headroom, you can see 2.5, 3.0, 4.5, and so on. So it will be easy to recognize integer value of headroom. Integer of, where is headroom? Headroom is here. Now you can see the 2.5 become 2, 3.0 become 3, 4.5 become 4, and so on. So only integer part of that number is given in that. So you can do a lot of things like minimum, maximum, you can add, subtract, anything you can do using these expressions. Now, one thing that we also, you would have realized that whatever I'm typing here, after when I enter it, it is going into this one, isn't it? So let's say I'm typing like DES, and let's say I have weight. Now this DES weight is a command that I'm giving, and it will go and sit near 23. So it will be 24 number. You can see here, you can look at this. Okay. So now if you want to use it later on, you don't have to type again and again. You can use like first command that we use is use auto, clear. So I can use this, clear, describe. So I want to do again some summarize for this data. I just click here and it will be done. So you don't have to type again and again and again and again, because whole role of learning software is to make your life easier, to make your calculations easier, to make complex statistical and data related problems easier for you. So this works very well in that respect. So these are the if you are interested in square root of x, so I'm interested in square root of 2500, right? Everyone knows, right? What is square root of 2500? 50. So what is log of 2500? 7.82. Okay. What is log natural? It is the same. Okay. So you can have ln and log simultaneously. So basically you can, what is the minimum of 2500, 4000, 5000? What is the minimum of this? 2500. What is maximum of these? So you can use this minimum within bracket, these numbers, maximum within bracket, these numbers, and you will be done. Now, if you, the way I'm going, it will, if you understand it properly here, your life in the R studio will also be easier. Okay. So similar sort of things you will be getting in the R studio as well. R studio is case sensitive. You can do everything that you are doing here in the R as well. It's just a different programming language that we will be using. So what's time there? It should be 11:07 there. So maybe another 20-30 minutes we will be taking a break. Now, if you are face to face, I would ask you like, what is star.xls mean? What kind of file format has file extension star.xlsx, a docx, a star.doc, and you will say it's a Word file or Excel file. So every type of files have different extension. Here it is important to know that Stata also have different extensions within Stata. So if you see any file with .dta at the end, you should understand that it is a Stata file. It's the Stata data file. DTA is data file. If you see .do at the end of a file, it will be a do file. If you see start.log or start.smcl, like manoj.smcl, what kind of file it is? It is a log file. Let's say manoj.ado, Okay, it is a do file. It's a do file. A do file is basically program that you write out of that is not probably inbuilt in Stata, and then you are writing some program and you are bringing those programs in Stata here. And then for graph, it is .gph for graph. Okay, so you must know this start.dta, like .do, .log, .edo, and .gph. Okay. Now we will move to now you can see actually let me just show you here okay, so you can see this type of file here. This is Stata do file. This is Stata do file. This is where is data? Does not have data. So if you go to data, you will see Stata dataset. So without looking at its extension, I know that the extension of this file is DTA. Okay, you can see here start.dta. So you can have this bplong.dta. Okay, so it's important to recognize in that way. So what we learned so far, let me, those who came late, they can go through the recordings if it is available after this session. But then what we did so far, I introduced you with Stata, and I told you that why Stata is used, which version of Stata is latest, and what are the different capabilities. And if you want to compare Stata with SPSS, SAS, R, some of the comparisons are here. But then these comparisons are dynamic in nature, means they keep changing because every software, every programming language keep updating. So it is not like when I prepared this slide, at that time, these were the differences. So if you see some other differences, or something has one of them have improved, please don't blame me. You have different editions of Stata, Stata MP, standard, interpool, and small Stata, and they differ in terms of like how many number of variables they can contain, how many maximum number of regressions, matrices, number of observations, how many maximum number of character variable or string variables they can accommodate, and so on. Then I introduced with you different windows: variable window, review window, result window, working directory, command window, okay, properties window, and so on. All right. And then we knew that some of these short, like menu, you can see at the, and then you can understand what this save, log, graph. They're very similar to Excel and Word. So it's easy. You can go through this. And then we discuss about some of the general rules that, you can use command, and command can be like sometimes first few letters. Okay, so for example, if it is a describe command, you can have a DES, and Stata will recognize that. Then we discussed that Stata is case sensitive. Stata use one equal and double equal differently. And it is always a good practice to give do file, log file, and data file same name. Name could be same, but then extension will be different. For example, do file has extension of .do, so it is different from log file, which has extension of .log, and data file .dta. So because these extensions are different, still the same name can work. And the reason is that sometimes you really don't know which data is linked with which do file and which log file. So it is always advisable to have similar names so that you don't get confused later. And then arithmetic, logical, and relational operators, they are similar in all other languages. You have some expressions for absolute value of x. You have ABS of x, exponential, integer, log, log 10, logit, maximum, minimum, round, square root, and all. And then we move to Stata. Now we will start writing syntax. Okay. So basic syntax for command is that you have first the command, okay, and then you have variable list, whatever variable you have, and then if you need, and that is optional actually, comma options. Okay, so if you know this structure, like first one is command, okay, second one is must be variable name. Either there will be nothing there or there will be variable name, comma, and then options. If it is there are some options there, right? So if you remember, like we use sysuse auto.dta. So what is command here? Sysuse. Sysuse is the Stata command, and auto.dta is the name of the file. When I say tabulate foreign, tabulate is a command and foreign is a variable name. When we say tabulate foreign comma detail, then it says tabulate is a Stata command, foreign is variable name, and detail is option. So let's write our first command. So I'm going to just clear everything so that no data exists, nothing. Now I'm going to start with the data that is already there in the system. So which command, if you remember, sys use, sysuse, and which data I am interested in? Auto data. So either I put auto.dta or simple auto, both are fine. Okay, so let's use .dta for the sake of, so that it is always a good practice to know the extension, because then you will be able to distinguish between data, do file, log file, graph file, and so on. So again, the same data will come, but this time all those logs and other variables that we had generated, exponential and so on, it is not there, because this is a new, this will treat as a new variable. One thing I did not explain is the clear. Clear is also a command. You know, when you put clear, it will clear your variables, your data. Basically, it will make your data editor, it will have nothing. It will be blank. And then you can open a new data file. So now we will spend some time here. We have these variables in the data: make, price, MPG, headroom, trunk, weight, length, turn, displacement, gear ratio, and foreign. Okay, so I'm interested in this foreign variable, and I want to see, I want to just tabulate it and see what percentage of car type is domestic and what percentage of car type is foreign. Okay, so, and I know nothing about this data. Let's say someone give me this data here and then say that, can you please tabulate foreign? Now, how will I think that what command I will be using? Right? So first thing I will be using is like, okay, let's look into what is intuition says. If someone says tabulate, make a table of this command, either it will be table command or it will be related to tabulation. So what I will do is I will say, oh God, nothing. I don't really know which command I will be using. So I will say, please Stata help me with tabulation. Okay. So I will seek help from Stata. I will say, okay, Stata, please help. So basically I'm giving Stata this command help, and I'm interested in this, I'm interested in the tabulation. Okay. So let me see. So assuming that I really don't know that which command I will be using to tabulate something. So I will seek help from Stata, or I will go here in help here. Okay, and then I will search here. Both are same basically. Okay, so let me search it and see what is coming as a command. So I'm going to search tabulation, and then wow, Stata bought these many options for me. Now let's go one by one. There is a command called ap-tab, which means tables for epidemiologists. Everyone knows that who are epidemiologists, right? They tabulate things in a different way. Miss table, tabulate missing values. I don't need that. Table, flexible table of summary statistics. That looks good. So let me just go on this table. Okay. Maybe I should look around and see which command I can see if I need others. So say table looks good because it has a flexible table of summary statistics. But remember, summary statistics may not give you percentage. Okay. But let's see, because we really don't know. Let's try this. I click on table, and then this came here as a syntax. So syntax is table and then row variable and so on. And at the end, there is an example here. So if I want to have one-way table, frequency is shown by default, then the command is this table. If you can't see this, let's make it a bit bigger. Now, interestingly, they have also used this same data set, right? So rather than MPG, rather than going for like foreign, I will go with this one here. Or maybe I'll just copy this from here because they have used the same data set. I'll just copy this command here. Don't copy this dot. And then just paste here. And then because REP variable is here already, let's see if what it says. This gives me frequency, but I'm not interested in only frequency. I'm also looking for percentage and cumulative percentage. So this means definitely table is not working. Again, I will go for help. Help tabulation. You must have realized that what I'm trying to teach you here. I'm trying to demonstrate that even if no one is there, you can try and learn. So I'll go for tab stat. So let's look at the tab stat. Go to examples here. Tab stat. They have also used the same data. So we are fine. The same variables will be here. Tab stat. We got mean of price variable, weight variable, MPG, and repeat. But we don't need this either because we are interested in the percentage and percentage distribution. So again, I will seek help from this data. I'll go back and I'll check with another one. I will check this tabulate one way. Okay. And you say tabulate, and then it has a underscore with TAB. It means that TA. So either you write TAB or TA or tabulate is fine. Again, I will go to this examples. They have used different data set, but it doesn't matter. We know that the first one will be command and the second one will be variable. So we can change the name of the variable for our sake and our help. So tabulate is the command. Instead of region, I can make it foreign. And let's see what is happening here. Wow, we know we wanted frequency, percentage, and cumulative percentage, and we got it. So domestic is 52. So how many cars who are domestic? 52 cars. How many foreign cars we have? 22 cars. And how many total cars? 74. So what percentage of the total car is domestic? 70.27. What percentage of total car is foreign? 29.73. And cumulative, cumulative distribution is this, is here. and this plus this is here. So it is 100%. And if you add these two, so basically we were looking for tabulate command, right? We were looking for tabulate foreign. Now let's put detail here. Detail is not allowed, basically. Okay, so the lecture slide that says tabulate foreign detail is not allowed. Okay, so I'll remove this from here. Okay, and I will remove this from here as well. Why I did this? I just wanted to make sure that you learn this, that sometimes if you put something here, it will not be accepted by Stata. Okay, so it is not going to take this. Now, as I promise, if you just write TA foreign, it should take, isn't it? It should take. If you write tab, that is also fine. If you write table, it will also fine. If you write table, it will also fine. If you write table, anything more than 2 here will be fine. But if you write only T, what will happen? Command T is unrecognized. Okay, so you'll have to write at least 2 letters, TA. But what if I put capital TA? Command TA is not recognized. What about first small t and then capital T? It will also not. Remember, we mentioned that it is a case sensitive, so it will not be recognizing it. So now we know Stata. So we know Stata. Okay. Anyone who wants to do summary statistics and have a question, please let me know, and let's try to find out how to get that command. Suppose okay, because you can't ask question, let me ask myself. Suppose I'm interested in so we have done summarize, we have done tabulation, right? Now, suppose I'm interested in mean, median, mode. Yes, Shubhi, can you ask a question?
Yes, sir. I was just asking the participants, like, if they have any query, they can raise their hands and I will unmute them.
Sure. Thank you very much. So suppose, Shubhi, you are interested in, let's say, in mean, median, mode, minimum, maximum, everything about any variable, let's say price variable, right? And we really don't know which command we will be using for this data to get that. So again, we will be doing like what? Help, because we are talking about statistics. Let's talk help statistics. There are so many things here and you will be lost, basically. So you'll have to be a bit more precise. Okay, right? So many commands you will have, and nobody can teach you all these commands. So can we be more precise? We can have, let's say, stats. Can we get this? So these are the 2 commands we have, estimate, but then it is about the model selection statistics. Okay, so we will go by, like, we'll say summary statistics, because these are called summary statistics as well. So, and then we'll see, like, where is this? This is summarize command. Okay, so one command we got, summary statistics, is summarize command. We got tab stat as well. Summarize we already saw. So let's try what this tab stat does. Sys auto and tab stat, this one same data that we are working with. So let's copy this from there. So we have a tab stat command, and we have price, weight, MPG, REP 78. We got only mean. We did not get mean, median, etc., etc., etc. Right? So what we can do here now, we will do help type state because we want more than these. And then we will see these options here. Go to examples and see mean, standard deviation, minimum, maximum. Okay, so let's take this. Or maybe it's easier for me to just tell you there. Okay, comma stats. You want number of observations, you want mean, you want median, you want standard deviation, you want variance, you want coefficient of variance, you want minimum, you want maximum. What else you want? Skewness, you want kurtosis, and there are others. So let's say we want for these 4 or 5 variables, 4 variables, price, weight, MPG, and REP 78 variables, we are interested in descriptive statistics where we want to have number of observations, mean of these variables, median of these variables, standard deviation, and variance is square of standard deviation. Coefficient of variation is what? Is a measure of dispersion, which is standard deviation divided by mean into 100. Minimum, maximum, skewness, and kurtosis. It will tell you whether your data is normal or not. Okay. Now, the moment I will enter, I will get something. But then here, so you can see here price, weight, MPG, REP 78. All these are variables, and here you have statistics. And mean, P50 is 50th percentile, which is median, which divides the whole data into 2 equal parts. Then you have standard deviation, you have variance, coefficient of variance, minimum, maximum, skewness, and kurtosis. So in one command, just in one line, you can have everything. And now you will be happy to take this to Excel and from there to Word and anywhere. And within 1 or 2 minutes, you will have the entire table. Which generally, if you have done your assignments, etc., you will take hours and hours to calculate these. Okay, so when you know Stata, definitely your efficiency will improve. You can do more statistical exercises within time frame. So as a student, but if you really don't want to go into that detail, that is also fine. I mean, if you don't want to learn those commands, that's fine. You go to statistics, go to summarize tables and test, and you can follow these frequency tables, one-way table that we had, right? We have frequency tables, we have other tables, table of means, standard deviation, and frequencies, compact table of summary statistics, tabulate. So all sort of things you can have there. So let's say we go to compact table of, basically which command is this? You can see tab stat command. Okay, and then you can put here variable. Let's say you are interested in price, MPG 78, REP 78. Okay, what you want basically? Mean. You want all these, you can just tick it. You want count, you want minimum, you want maximum, variance, everything. And once you put OK, a similar graph, a similar table will be, similar answer will be coming there. All right. So if you can't see your chat, then we got a message. All the participants are requested to fill out the following form, which is mandatory for attendance of session 1. So I think everyone,
Yes,
I'm not sure.
Yeah, so we will take care of the form. If anybody has any doubt, please raise your hands and I will unmute you.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to now take a break. And if you have any questions so far, please let me know. And then we will start our second session soon. Is that okay, Dr.
Okay.
Naidu?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now the time is 11:33. So we'll
Yeah.
take 10 minutes break or 5 minutes?
Yeah.
10 minutes break?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
sure.
should be fine.
We'll take 10 minutes. That's approximately, yeah.
But then if you want to,
11:43 we complete.
yeah, if some of them wants to ask question and feedback, I think we can spend 2-3 minutes. Is it okay?
Can you share the data set that you're using, the AutoCAD, the Auto One data set, so that we can also do it side by side with you?
Right. It is within the Stata. So if you're using Stata software, if you just type sys use auto, it is there. I don't have to give you. But then I have also created one Google Classroom where I have uploaded all those materials that we'll be using. So Dr. Naidu will share invitation,
Right, sir. I will.
and then everything you'll be finding here. Like you can see all those data set, you have lecture slides, you have do files and everything. So this is my Google Classroom, which I use for teaching. So you can have access to this. I don't mind. I think there are 7 people already here. So you can also join it. I will not be grading those. So this one is here. Don't worry, you will get it. But then for the data that I'm using, you don't really need data if you're using Stata, any Stata version. Just type sys use auto and you will have that data with you. Is that okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Right.
Yes, Dr. Monash, sir. All right. Now the 11:35. So we'll see you on 11:45. Is it fine?
Sure. Sure. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fine.
So
I will be here. So if someone wants to interact, that's fine. I'm okay with it. And those who
I
want to
think
take break,
yeah, we'll give the some open the chat box. That means we are maybe if you have any queries, so please text the text box. We are unable to the text box. Okay. Subhi, please
Yes, sir. So I will enable the chat
enable
box.
the text box. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, sir.
thank you, Subi.
You can tell to participant to can any queries to please mention that. Thank you, sir. You take some break and yeah.
Thank you so much.
I have enabled the chat box. If you have any doubt, you can just type it in the chat box.
Yes, sir. I think all of the questions are related that software, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, that's fine. I mean, if you're smart, you can get software. Otherwise, you'll have to like so many institutions have software nowadays. So
So most of the students have, most of the researchers have this software, but not that licensed ones. It is available somewhere.
Yeah, so I have created this Google Classroom where I will keep uploading and updating my materials. So if someone is registered there, they will have access to it for a long time, even after the workshop. And as we discussed, we might have a follow-up at some point of time. So we can go into a bit advanced version of it. So should we again go for it? Is there any?
Whatever it is content after the session, we definitely will share. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we can start, sir.
We can start? Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Shubhi, is it okay?
Yes, sir. I think everything is fine. There are some doubts in the chat box, but Neha ma'am is clearing them. So I think we can move forward.
Sure. Thank you. All right. So I'm going to share my screen now. And so we were doing, so basically we used all basic commands like tabulate, summarize, describe, type stat, clear, and so on. So it's quite intuitive. And one of the next one, the next slide tells you about the list of command. I think one of the questions someone asked is about, can you send list of commands? And here you go. So some commands you already know because it's quite intuitive. So for example, like if you are doing, if you are seeking help from Stata, then the commands that is used is help, okay, or search command you can use. Some of the things are not in the Stata, so you have to search on the net. So you can go through the net search as well. Now, data manipulation is, if you're doing data manipulation, you want to clear it, you want to drop a variable, you want to keep a variable, you want to sort a variable in a particular order. So sort command. If you want to display result, just like we used as a calculator, then it is display command. If you want to label a variable, it's a label command. If you want to write notes about a variable or data, it's a notes command. If you want to order something, those variables in a particular order, it's order command. If you want to change the name of the variable, you don't like a name of the variable, you want to change it, then it's a rename command. Okay, rename Manoj as someone else. Okay, reshape. If you want to if your data is wide and you want to change it to long, or in the long form, if you want to change it to wide, it's a reshape command. Encode command, decode command. If your variable is a string variable, characters, because some numbers are also treated as character. For example, student ID. If someone's student ID is 20201968, then it is not numeric, isn't it? Because you can't add two student IDs, ID numbers. You can't, if you have a roll number or any sort of ID number, license number, you can't just add it. So they are not numeric. But then if you want to treat those numbers as numeric, or you want to declare that as a string, you can have different, so you can have a string, you can have a string. If you want to see the data, you can have a browse or edit, list, look for, code book, inspect. If you want to use the data, if you want to bring data into Stata, like from other format, it is importing basically. So in economics, you do import and export. So both can be done in Stata. So import command, then you have a save command where you want to save file, replace command, do, log, describe, generate, count, table, correlate, tabulate. All these are like, if I ask you, how do you do t-test? T-test in Stata. Simple, t-test is the command. Okay. If you want to find out the ratio, it's a ratio command. If you have mean is also a command. Summarize is a command, tabulate, table, count, all these commands you can use. If you want to have a correlation, you have a correlate command. So Stata is quite, quite intuitive. If you want to do regression, regress command. If you want to do analysis of variance, ANOVA command. If you want to do logistic regression, it's a logit command. Okay, a logistic command. If you want to do probit command. If you want to do negative binomial regression, you have NBReg. Okay? If you have done this biostatistics thing, STCOX test, it's STCOX, is form of non-parametric regression analysis. You can do that. OV test, MLogit, Poisson, predict. So in terms of the graph, most of us know this scatter diagram, line, histogram. All these are command. Like if you want to have a histogram is the name of the command. Okay. If you want to have a bar diagram, graph bar, graph pie, graph replay, graph drop, and so on, so forth. Okay. So one thing you should believe in you, that if you know basics of Stata, you know how to start Stata, how to get data into Stata, then there is no one you need to teach yourself. You can teach yourself. It's like a self-help kind of software. But yes, you will have to have some patience, as it is always the case in any language or software. You should know your basics, right? So those things will be fine. Do we link for the Google Classroom? Yes, I sent it, I think. Google, I'm not sure whether this is. I think if you go up, I shared the Google Classroom. Yeah, here. Okay. Here you go. All right. So what we are going to do is we are going to have some like clear command. I just use clear. So now let's do some warm up, right? Now let's say in your project or in your research, I gave you these 10 questions. Okay, I gave you these 10 questions, and I said, and it's very important. So just bear with me and focus on this. I said that you have auto dataset in the Stata example dataset. You use it, and then you inspect the data. You see what kind of variable type, what kind of descriptive, how these variables looks like, and so on. And then make a table describing percentage distribution of foreign and domestic cars in sample. Create a table with number of observations, mean, median, etc., etc. Then you do it by foreign and domestic type. You plot a scatter diagram. You have a graph of all the variables together. Find the correlation coefficient, perform t-test, and then have a simple regression. Now, it looks like it will take like a month or so for a beginner, isn't it? But then, would you believe if I say that we can do it in 5 to 10 minutes, right? 10 to 15 minutes if we'll go slowly. Okay. And basically, what I'm trying to tell you is this. I'm just trying to tell you that what you do is you make all these tables and graphs and the correlation coefficient and t-test and the regression in 10-15 minutes, right? And you have to do it. So basically, it's a 6-page output, but then it covers most of our analysis, isn't it? What we need distribution. We need to make some tables with the percentage. We need to make some n, mean, median, mode, etc., skewness, kurtosis for all these variables by domestic, by foreign. Then we need to have this scatter plot for price and mileage, and to see the relationship between mileage and price. And we can see that as mileage increasing, the price is falling, right? So some sort of negative trend, we can see a pattern we can see here between these two. And then it's probably hard to interpret for you, but then if you know how to interpret it, you can interpret it in one go. Okay, so you have all the variables together. Like if you want to see the relationship between price and mileage, you will have this graph. If you want to see price and repair record, you will have this graph. If you want to see price and headroom, this graph. Price in the y-axis and weight in the x-axis here. Okay, so this graph here. So relationship between price and weight is as weight of the car increasing, price is increasing as well. So some sort of positive correlation between price and weight. So it's very useful to visualize your data and relationship and outliers using this this graph. Okay. Then you have a correlation coefficient between, let's say, price and MPG, and I just said weight and price has a positive correlation. You can see here. And then t-test. So you want to see if there is a significantly different price we have in terms of like, production of the car, whether it is domestic and foreign. It is not significant here. It means that they are almost similar. So basically, not statistically, the price of foreign and domestic cars are not statistically different. And then you have a regression analysis where you have these explanative variables and you have a price as a dependent variable. Now, if I ask you to make these things in 10-15 minutes, you can do it, okay? So if you go to Google Classroom, you will also find a do file there, where it is. So if you go to Classroom, and if you go to lecture 1, you will see do file, this one here. Okay, so you just have to bear with me what this do file. I will now explain that. Okay, so it's quite challenging, isn't it? to have all these question number 1 to question number 10. So let's start with question number 1. Use auto data from Stata example data set. So what I'm going to do is, I told you, right? This use auto. Now my data is ready. First question gone. Second question, perform data inspection, like variable type, describe. Basically, you have to put some description there. So which command will you use? Describe command. Done. So this make is a string variable, price is integer, MPG is integer, headroom is float, trunk is integer variable, gear ratio is float, foreign is byte. Okay. Variable label is make, price, mileage, repair, headroom, and so on. And the format is given here, the length of maximum length of that value that it can take. Okay. Now, so second question gone. Third one, make a table describing percentage distribution of foreign and domestic cars. It has already been done. But if you want to do it, you know the table command, tabulate foreign. Okay. This is done. But if you want to do it in a proper way, again, I'll go copy table. I'll go here. I'll put here. Okay. And then I will just make some formatting and done. Oh, sorry. And I will take it to here. Okay. And we will match if these are the same. So frequency, we can just put n, isn't it? Percentage, we don't like percent, so we'll just put this symbol here. And generally, if you don't want to report this cumulative one, you just remove it. Okay, so this is car type, this is domestic, this is foreign, this is total. Now, rest of the things is just formatting. Okay, so we are going this, then this, and then let's put Control E so that it's similar. Isn't it same? The only difference is small t and capital T. So let's also make this happen. So this table is done. Even if you have n number of categories, the same time will take. So if you do it quickly, if you don't explain to anyone, it will take even like you can do like this. Now coming to this descriptive statistics, I already did that. So I want to show you this. I told you that the program is here. All the 10 questions have this program here. It is already there and it's shared in the Google Classroom. So we did this, we did this, we did this. Now we will be doing the fourth one where we are asked to create a table with number of observations, mean, etc. I just copy it here. Even I don't need to copy, I can run from here, right? You can just run here and you can just click here and execute selection and done. But then I don't want to do it here. If you know Stata, you will have some sort of attitude as well, just like you can see in me right now. I don't want to do in this way, I want to do in that way. Okay, done. Okay, so you just copy from here and go here and then paste here. Now it's a bit dangerous, isn't it? Because they are broken now. So you'll have to use a bit of. If you're working with Stata and if you're copying table from Stata output, you will face this kind of problem because in one column you will have variable n and mean. So the most useful tool that you'll be using in Stata is go to data. And I'm sure some of you have already done it, but if not, then please master over it. And so useful that you can't believe. One of my colleagues taught me when I was working at the Institute of Economic Growth, and I always remember him for this because it's so useful thing. So go to data and go to text to columns, and you will get delimited and fixed width. Because here there is no fixed width, I will go for delimited, and I will just have a tick over tab and space, and then go next, and then finish, and then again I will go and paste it. Now you see they are different. Okay, because this skewness and kurtosis is part of this one here, I will go here. Okay, and I will just abandon this. Now you can see it is coming in this shape. There's 3-digit decimal, so you will have to just reduce it to 1 digit and then F4. 1 digit done. Basically, you have created that table here with mean, median, everything. Now the next question also asks like by foreign. Repeat 4 by foreign and domestic type. You can just use by sort. Remember, never use capital. So keep your uppercase, that the light that goes on when you do capital, it should always be off when you're using Stata. Remember this. So I'll do by sort which variable? Foreign variable. And then I will repeat the same thing for like, it will repeat the same thing for like domestic and foreign. Okay. Yeah. So I'll next time when you will be copying this and pasting it just here, it will look much better than the earlier one because you already have done text to column. So I'll go from here and again I will make it here. Done. Domestic is done. Now coming to foreign in the same way. Go here. So rest is your Excel skill, how good you are in Excel. Stata has already done its job. Okay, so don't worry about it much because what I'm doing is not Stata, it's Excel. And then go for this. So this is for all categories, right? This is for all, this is for foreign. So I'll also remove these two. So this is foreign, this is domestic, and this is for all. Okay. Now you have everything here. You just have to, yeah, done. This big table, you just take it from here, go to Word, and then okay, you can do it here. Auto fit to window. Yeah. And now rest is your word skill. So basically what I'm trying to actually demonstrate here is not trying to show that I'm smart, but I'm just trying to show that Stata works very close with this. This Excel and Word. So if you're working with Word, you will not regret working with Stata. If you're relying more on Excel and you know Excel very well, it will add skill in you, and then it will basically, yeah, you can do it Done, isn't it? And then if you want to make some cosmetics here, it will be like this. Okay, CV. Now rest is interpretation. You are done with the the job of Stata, that is done. Okay. Didn't you get the same table as we had here before? Yeah, same, with the same numbers. The one, yeah, so all domestic and foreign. So this 4, 5 is now gone. Now, if you want to do a scatter plot for price, it's very easy. You use my do file, and that time I copied it and took it there. Now this time I will just click here, and then you will see something happening here. Okay. I'll have to do this because I'll have to open another one here. So this will be another file, so I don't want to use it. Wow, your graph is ready. Just one line, your graph is ready. Now if you don't like this, you have editor here as well. And I can tell you that you can do it quicker than, see, so many types of like point, circle, square, diamond, plus, large X, right? V shape. I like V here. Okay, V represents victory. So go small. I don't like navy color. I will probably like blue or something. It must be somewhere here. Okay. There are so many colors. You might not be knowing most of the colors here. Okay, like sienna, eggshell, dim gray, khaki we know, right? Olive, thanks to Bollywood movies and so on. Chocolate color. Yeah, if you like chocolate color, let's select this chocolate. Okay. Yeah. Okay. You don't like this. You want to have something here. Can have mileage of car. Don't like medium size. You can just change very small or small. Small is fine. This looks a bit weird, so you can have distribution of price by mileage. Okay, and then it should be medium large. Again, dark. Let's say it is. Where is blue? It's blue here. Okay. Margin you can change small and so on and so forth, and you are done. In fact, you can record this process. You can see here recording. And then if you want to have hundreds of thousands of graphs like this with the same format, same color, same same sort of this blue and chocolate and so on and so forth. Actually, you play the recording and then all other graphs will be like in the same way. You want to see this now? It will be fun. So let me just go back to where we were. Okay. Control Z is working here. Fine. Okay. Now I'm going to start recording. Okay. So I'm going to start recording, and now onwards, whatever I will do, it will be recorded. All these steps will be recorded. So is it recording start? Yes. So I know it is started because it's saying end recording. So if I click here, it will be recording will be end. Going again. Now this was circle. I think it was V, or maybe we can change to pipe. Navy to red. Okay. This is like a pipe. It doesn't look good. Let's make it diamond. So expensive. So where is diamond here? Great. Now its size is big, which doesn't look very, because our eyes might not accept easily. And it's also very expensive. So let's make it small so that we can fit in our budget constraint. Okay. So this is here, right? And then you have this mileage. We change that as well. Mileage of car, medium, small is like small. Let it be black. We want to change it black to blue. It's also fine. Then this one we changed the size, we changed the color, and we also make some changes here from large to medium large and dark navy to brown. No, I think it was blue somewhere. But if you're not getting, that's okay. There's so many colors here. See, lime, medium green. Okay, done. Suppose we make this kind of things, and then what we'll do is we are going to end this recording. Okay, we are going to end this recording, and I'm going to just make change like trial. Okay, and where it is going to specify it. So let's say we are going to have a trial here. I have to remember where it is. So let's try and then save it. Now I saved it, I close this. Okay, I'm going to save this graph as well. So graph 1. Done. Okay, so what I did now, we just make a graph. Okay, now I'm going to have another graph where I'm going to have a price and weight. Instead of mileage, I'm going to have weight, and then title will be distribution of price by weight. X title is no more mileage, it is weight. Y title remains this. And I just click here. It is a graph, right? But it's a different graph because this graph shows relationship between weight and price variable. Now I have to do this formatting, and it is like, again, I have to go here and then do all sort of things again. I don't want to do that. I want to use, play recording. Okay, so I'll go to play recording, and then it's a last recording was this trial.grec. So I'm going to record this. Done. But then what happened here? Graph remains the same, but because this I had changed mileage and weight, it has also come. So I just make a small change here. This is now by weight. And then if I just copy it here, you can see formatting is so easy when you replay your done. If you have thousands of graphs like this, you can take like 5 seconds or so for formatting, and it's a similar like when you paste this in your document, these graphs will be like all diamond, all red, the size and formatting. See, we did not format this section, the price section, and it remained in all the graphs. Okay, so this is the advantage with the Stata. Having said that, if you want to have like a particular things in graph, sometimes you will have to do a bit of Google search because it's not that intuitive. So graph, always I struggle with the graph, and I think many of the graphs, different types of graph people use. I will share with you library of the graph where you can just change the variable and you want whatever you want, you can do it, not maybe today. Okay, so what we did is we can just now we have to put it in the Word file. We'll just copy a Control C, and we will go here, and then we'll get this graph here. Okay, this is here. We can just paste it because we have already made another graph as well. So we can also paste this one. Scatter plot of price and weight. Price and weight. Now you must be thinking that I promise you that I will be doing in 10-15 minutes, but it is getting longer because I'm teaching. I'm not doing it. This graph, right? This is my favorite graph because whenever I do, you remember like your lecturers always tell statistics and econometrics, maybe Dr. Naidu teach. He always would be saying that before you go for any regression or anything, you look into your data and look into outliers and look like what kind of trend and pattern it is following. This graph is my favorite one, even though it's hard to read it for everyone, but then you have to learn how to read it. And it is just graph matrix command. Okay, so that graph, you can get it through this. Graph matrix is the command. Why it is giving message? Can you hear this message? It is because it is saying that you can't have another graph if one graph already open. So I understand where somewhere I have opened this graph. Yes, this one here. So I'll close this first and let me just save it like graph 2 before I go. Okay. And then now it's coming. You can count. If your counting is good, you can count it. Wow. Done. And what is your job now? Just copy from here, go here, and then paste it. Okay. Go here and paste it. Here. So it's so easy. If you are making a scatter plot and you are working with the inspection of data, outliers, correlation, trend, pattern, and so on and so forth, your life will be so much easy if you know this graph matrix command. Okay. And then here also, if you like to have a regression or something, more into econometrics, this will also tell you the relationship. Like, I can say that mileage and weight has a negative relationship because this one here is downward sloping. Okay. And then correlation coefficient. This big one is just one command, correlate. Okay. So where is do file? This correlate. One thing I'm doing which you might not have noticed, I am getting correlation from for all the variables, but I'm just writing price dash foreign. Okay, because Stata makes your life so easy. It says why you will be typing all the variables. You just have the first variable here and the last variable. So first variable you can see here is foreign price here, and the last variable is foreign, and in between just dash. And then it will consider all the variables into it. So here is your correlation coefficient. So if someone asks what is correlation between price and gear ratio, I'll say negative minus 0.3801. Okay, and it is, why this is half matrix, because it is symmetric. Okay, so correlation matrix is symmetric matrix. So this data does not give you the whole matrix, it just give half, and then you can just cut it half and then superimpose, and you will be getting the full matrix. In fact, you don't need that. And then you just copy it from here and then go and paste in the Word. Done. The last thing that we no, not last. So graph, we already did graph, correlation coefficient, t-test. T-test to test the null hypothesis that domestic cars are cheaper than foreign cars. It means that the price of what is our null hypothesis? H0. H0 is that price of domestic car is equal to price of foreign car. And we are going to have perform t-test to reject this, because statistician, they never like the word accept. They always try to reject. So if you're dealing with the statistician, they are like some sort of pessimistic, will say. They will always try to reject things, but then they set the null hypothesis in such a way that when they reject it, they get the outcome they want. So they basically they basically play rational in that way. So if I'm interested in, if I want that domestic cars and foreign car price should be same, I will put this as an is not same or is same. I will just put it as a null hypothesis and I will try to reject it, which is my desired outcome. So here H naught is there. It's simple. T test. What we are going to do? T test on what variable? Price. By which variable? Foreign. And would you believe that it will give you t-test? This will give you t-test result. And here you have three types of alternatives, right? Difference is less than 0, means price of mean of domestic is less than mean of foreign price. Mean price of, and then it is not equal, it's a two-way, right? And this is 1. Okay, so you can see that p-value is greater than 0.05, so you are not going to reject it. So basically you are going to say that, well, statistically, average domestic price is same as average foreign price. So our null hypothesis is not rejected, okay? And we are not using the word accept because there is a difference between do not reject and accept. I'm not rejecting something does not mean that I'm accepting, okay? So it must be clear when you are doing this t-test, all right? So done, and then you copy it and paste it. So t-test is done, and the final is final one is regression analysis. We know that regression is a regress command, right? So you can have a regression, and you want to see like relationship between price and other variables. So I'm going to have this here. So regression is the command, regression, regression, and then this is my dependent variable, and rest of them are explanatory variables. Okay, and just you enter it. Regression is not recognized. Sorry about this, because it is a regress command, okay, or reg command. You have got coefficient, you have got a standard error, t value, p value. You know that only weight variable is significant here. If you have done regression, that's fine. Otherwise, you don't have to worry about this one anyway. But if you really don't know how to get this command, you can have help regression, and then Stata will tell you which command you should use. Yeah, regress command here. And then if you click here, you can practice this example. Data is given here, auto data same, regress MPG over weight and foreign. I'll copy it here and I'll go here for another regression. And in the do file that I made here, if I will just paste this outer command, it will also give you in a very nice table. See, this kind of table is created because I don't want these two. I'll just delete these two columns. So ready. Now, I think I had overpromised 10 to 15 minutes, but we finished all these activities. So this is also in the Google Classroom, this file, and then all the commands are also here if you want to use it. So whatever commands I use is here. Tab stat, if you remember, buy, sort, foreign, scatter, graph, correlate, price, and so on. Maybe tomorrow I will share you the master do file, which will make you happy. Okay. So this was the Stata warm up for me because you don't have, most of you don't have software and data at the moment. Now, what is time now? It's should be 12:30, I think. Okay, so still we have time, so we will go through this. But then by now, you know that Stata is easy, and you can have some sort of affection for Stata. Okay? Even though it is expensive, if you buy it. Yeah, I got it from my my research fund, but then if you don't have that and you're a student, you'll have to think of it. What we are going to learn now in the data management section, which are the fourth part, and I will be a bit quicker here, is how to get your own data. Suppose your data is in Excel, okay, and you want to work in Stata. How will you do that? So I'm not going now slide by slide. I will just show you. Okay. So let's say your data is in Excel. So let's open an Excel data set. What is happening? Okay, so let's say this is our Excel data set, but it has two of, let's create another data set, new one. And this data is in your Excel file here. Everyone can see it? I can make a bit bigger. Now the thing is that you know how to do calculations in Excel, right? So if you want to have an average of this, you can just say, okay, average of starting from here. So you can drag it if you want to. Otherwise, I think I dragged too much. So, right. So you have this average here, and then, okay, so you found out the mean of this one. Fine. But then if you want to do this in Stata and you want to use this data into Stata, what you'll have to do is you have to first save it. I think I'll have to. So I'm just saving it, let's say same name, auto, so that. Okay, because it is already open. So I'm going to have this auto. So I'm going to have this auto now. It should be fine now. Now this file is already done. And I'm going to, I don't have any data here in my data. I start with a blank one, okay? Because I want to keep everything in one do file and I want to share with you what I did. Like so far I have used how many commands? 66, 67 commands. So I want to put all those commands together and give it to you. But then if you can open in another one. So there are many ways of doing this. The easiest one is what? This is my Excel file. What I will do, Control A. Everyone knows what Control A means? Select. So I will select all. I will select all this. Okay. Now, एक बार select होने के बाद सारी problem solved, right? So once it is selected, Control C, and then go to Stata, open this data editor here, and Control V. Now, when you do paste, or if you don't want to do Control V, if you're not good in shortcuts like Control V, you can have a paste, and then it will ask, the first row on the clipboard contains values that can be used as valid variable names. So the first row, you remember in the Excel where our variable names like make, price, MPG, weight, etc., etc. Then I'll say yes. Do you want to treat the first row as variable names or data? I know that it is variable name, so I'll just click on variable name. Now this is part of my Stata family. Okay, everything has come in here, and then now you can go, just like you saved Excel file, you can go and save as, and then you have auto, and because there are so many auto, I will just put auto Manoj, okay, which is my brand. Done. And you can do lot, now everything you can do, right? Whatever you did there, you can do this. Everything you can do what you did so far. So if you have Excel data, you just have to copy that data and paste into Stata, and then save it just like you save the Excel file. So in that respect, Stata is not different from Excel. Okay. Now you say, okay, okay, fine. What if I want to enter data here myself? Okay. Let me tell you, entering data into Stata is a bit tough because you will have to press a bit. Stata does not give that free kind of, because you can make mistake. So you can have this like, 1, 2, 3, 4, something, you can do like this. You can enter here as well, and you can save it. And you can see like whatever you have entered, you have record. In Excel, you have no record. Like, I can show you one thing. If I change this 3.5 to 0, let me first make it, right? And make it red so that you know which one I changed. Let's say if I change this 0 and there is no, this red and thing is not there. Now, once I save it, you have no record. What was the number before, isn't it? But then if I do it here, this was the 3.5, right? Yeah. If I do it here, it becomes 0 here. Now you can see. But then Stata will take like replace headroom equal to 0 in 9. So Stata will still remember it. And if you save this, you know that in row number 9, I replace this variable by 0. Okay. So you can, if you are working in a team as a data and you are preparing data, it's very good. It's very good to have working in Stata, because it will make your life easier when something happens in the future, because you can always say when you remember when you did this. Okay. So still your data is here, and you can save it and you can work it. Another way, if you forget that, another way you remember this, there is an import, and you can have Excel spreadsheet, you can have text data, you can have SAS. If your data is in the SAS, you can still import it. If you have text data in the fixed format, you can still do that. If it is in the unformatted text data, you can still do that. Okay. So because I don't have much time today, I will not show you all these, but these are in our lecture slides. So you can practice on your own and see how data is import. Similarly, if you want to do export data, let's say I have this data, and now I want to export this data into Excel. Okay. Easy. Go to export data to Excel spreadsheet. And it will ask like leave empty for all variables. And what is the where I should save it? Like, let's say I should save it like let's say auto underscore Manoj from Stata. Okay. Save variable names to the first row in the Excel one, and then submit it. Okay. What is happening here? Oh, so this is already exist because I run it twice. Sometimes when you become too excited, you make mistake. So when you're working with the data, you have to remain calm. Do yoga and meditation and remain calm when you are working with the data, because it's quite dangerous sometimes. Overconfidence kills your data skills. Okay, so here you go. I exported, what I did here, I exported Stata data into Excel. So if your data is in Excel, you can import to Stata. If your data is in Stata, you can still export into Excel. So it's like, you know, from here to there, there to here, you can always have import and export. And it's quite intuitive, isn't it? Because what is import? When you buy something from someone else, right? When transfer is done from one country to another, one person to another. What is export? When you are giving to someone, right? When something is going from source to destination. So it's quite, and then if you don't want to go there you don't want to all the time go there, and you want to remember the command is here, this one. So what basically you use export command, and export in which format? Excel. Using what file? This is the file name that you give, and then first row you declare variable. So it's quite intuitive, basically. So if you don't know the command, if you don't know the syntax, you go through the first principle. Once you get it, you can do it 100 times. I just change it again to 1. I can have another one. If I go for like not in Excel, but I want to have in something else. So let's say you can also export in CSV. So for CSV, you can do here just CSV. I hope everyone knows what CSV file is. V, and then you have this, just change it here, CSV, and the first row is unknown subcommand CSV. Okay, there is some issue, right? So I'll check because I don't know what is happening here. Write to the file, the same file I just said. Save as, and what was my file name? Auto Stata 1. Okay, and oh, it was already there. Excel. So save. Okay, then say comma separated format or something else. Do not write names on the first line. Here you go. Now you have another file here, which is CSV file. This one is your CSV file that is created. So what mistake I was making here? I should have written delimited, but I was working CSV. So Stata gives you a lot of opportunity to correct your mistakes. If you are not sure and if you are doing mistake, Stata will, you know, tell you there is some mistake there. And if you go here, you will find something. And then if you match that code, you will find that CSV is not the right word there. It is delimited. Okay. So this is what I did here. And then you have in file command. I just go through quickly. So data import export is done. The same sysuse data name, copy paste, text data delimited. When you import, you have import command. And if it is in the CSV format, it is delimited. Yeah. In file command is also like if you're working with the NSO, NSS data in India, you can have this in file command, out file command from raw data and so on. From fixed, like you basically will be using the fixed format with dictionary file. So if you have issue with the extraction of data in if you're using some NSSO rounds, then you can use this this slide. If you have data in SPSS, you want to work in Stata, you can still import from SPSS. You can still import from SAS software. Okay, and then save is similar to Excel. Now, the last thing that I want to teach you today is do file and log file. So what is do file? Do means what? Do means do. So do it. What I did so far, I actually give command to Stata, and then Stata runs those commands. So do file is something which is input file, which is your command file, where you want to either write your program or you want to save all your whatever you have done. In last 2 hours or so, I have done these things. Okay. So can I save all these commands for the future? The moment you will leave from this session, this one will be gone. So better to have saved. So what you do is you go somewhere here on this review command window, right click, and it says select all. So I selected all. Then again right click, and then it says send selected to do file editor. So I'll select it to do file editor, and then all my commands are here in the file, which looks like a notepad, you know. Okay, and then I will save it as I will say do file for session 1 and 2, March 21. Okay, my do file is ready. Now what? Now done. I'm not going to do anything here. So I'm done with everything. Okay, I close my all Stata files here. Okay. But then I realized that, oh, I forgot something. I need to check. Okay, so I'll go to another blank one here, and then go to do file editor here, and then file open. And this is not my MEPP class. This is ASRD college. So do file session. Do you remember this? This is what we saved, isn't it? This do file session 1 and 2. So I will open it. It will open now. And then I will run this. Can I do that? Let me do it. Now this stopped here. It means that there was a mistake here. Where it was a mistake? This mistake was at the beginning here. So it means that something was wrong here. So this is time to actually make everything. So I don't like this because of this error is coming. Just put star. The moment you put star in front of one thing, you will see that all the commands are in blue and all the numbers and variables are in black. Okay, and all these options like this what was that expression is in blue as well, but then the color of the command and this blue is different. Okay, so the moment I will see this, I will say, okay, is regress a command? Yes, because it is given in a particular, you can change the color as well. So the first thing that I'm doing is this, and then I will do let's say I do this much. Yeah, see, so I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to again type my all the commands. My all the commands are saved there, and then in the future if I have some issues, because what I showed you here is that I knew that last time I made a mistake when I put capital price, so this time I can change it. Okay, and then you can do everything in that respect. So let's say we have done other mistakes as well. It will find out and I will figure out and I will make it. Again, there was a tab stat price. So I know where it is. Tab stat price. Where is tab stat price? Here. Okay, so I also do this. Okay, then I'm not sure whether I have made any mistake here, but let's see. Stata will tell me. Okay. I made a mistake in this one. If you remember, if you are in the beginning, it had said that it already exists. So where it is that? This one here. Done. Then I will go by this. Detail is not allowed. You remember this? I did this intentional mistake just to show that You can't put option if it is not there. So option is always option. And I know that there are a couple of mistakes I made here. So basically what I'm doing is I'm making my do file error free. Wow, everything is running. Look, great. So whatever I did in 2 hours, 3 hours is not wasted. Everything is there. Now, if I will just say, if I'm working with my colleague, I just send my do file to that colleague and he can run whatever I have done here. So you remember there was a mistake when I wrote regression somewhere and it says that it is not regression. So I'll put a star here again. When you put a star, it will be treated as a comment, not as it will be treated as a note. So you can write here, this was my mistake. Okay. And then you go through this. I think I made mistake here as well. So I'll do it. And I also made mistake here by clicking many times. So I know that. So I'll remove this from here probably. Okay. And because this save command I have used, I'll just put it to replace here so that I don't get in trouble again. And it should be fine. See? It's coming. Everything is there. Okay. So it says this file already exists. So I'll also put it. Replace. Where is this? Yeah. So whatever mistake you have made there, you can actually delete, and then you can have a very nice do file. So this has also gone here, no problem. And then rest of the things are here. Done. All these things, if you remember, I had showed you at some point of time. So no data in memory, so I'll put replace here. And I'll just, where is that? Yeah. I'll just remove it. I'll put a star. Okay. And then you go here. It already exists. Wherever it is exists, you just replace it. And it should be fine. Okay. So done. Now this is a perfect do file. My programming is done. Now, if you're expert, you don't need to go there and try and do it. You can do it. So for example, like if I want to start my own do file, rather than going there and writing on the command window, I'll just write here. Sysuse auto describe tabulate foreign tab stat price and stats and mean median standard deviation variance coefficient of variation min max skewness kurtosis. Then it was tab Stata, not tab Stata. Okay. Then I can have graph metrics. You remember that graph metrics? From price to foreign. And then I can have graph scatter and price and what was that? MPG. Okay. And then I can have a regression of price over MPG and weight, let's say. Then I can have a t-test, if you remember, t-test of price, comma, by foreign. Okay. Anything else you know about this? We have tabulated, we have graph, we have mean, median, mode, descriptive statistics, we have regression. You have n number of things you can do here. Okay. All good. Now I'll run this together. and I'll see what is happening here. So basically data was already there. So if I'm making any mistake, the Stata is going to find it anyway. So if you are expert in programming, Stata programming, you don't have to go and type one by one. You can just type hundreds of lines of programs here and then done. Everything is here, you can see, okay? And thanks to do file. Thanks to do file. Now, the last thing that I want to tell you before we all close it is log file. So what is log file? Do file is your input file where you save all your commands and all your past commands here, right? You can just click here, select or save selected, and then done. But one thing we're missing is like we are not saving all these outputs, isn't it? We are not saving all these outputs. So there must be a file where we can save our outputs, isn't it? So for that, you create another file that is called log file. You remember, like, I'm not sure whether you have experienced those people who show their car mileage, etc., in the tax to have some sort of tax deductions in Australia. They keep log file. They keep log book. Okay, so they just write, okay, from this kilometer to this kilometer, I went from office for office and so on and so forth. So log is, and you do login, right? So log in and log out. The same concept is in this data. So when you have a log, if you want to open log file, easiest way is to go file and then you have log here. And you can see begin, view, translate. So because you don't have any file, you have begin. And then you can say, okay, Dr. Manoj Pandey. Sometimes I feel good when I say Dr. Manoj Pandey. Manoj Pandey is boring. So Dr. Manoj Pandey, and then you can have log file. Okay, done. And if you want to write this March 21, and then you remember this .smcl, it was a log file extension, if you remember that. Okay, so go to save. So what command I used here? Basically, I used log using command, log using, and then I put the syntax of at the address of the file which I want to. So it is C users Manoj desktop introduction to Stata ASRD college public. The name is Dr. Manoj Pandey _ log file March 21.smcl. Okay, so rather than going to file and then doing this, I could have just simply write here. Now that you have begin your anything that you will write here, any command, for example, this, we did this, right? So I'll just put it here, clear all, let's say, I just clear. Now I'm going to run this again. Graph matrix is coming. Done. All those outputs that I have created after this is saved here. But then if you remember the first rule, we say when you start a log file, you have to close it as well. So what is command there? Log close. If you don't remember this log close, which is intuitive, right? If you are starting a log file, you are using log using. Now, when you are closing your log file, you are saying log close. So go to file, go to log, and then somewhere here is a close. There are suspend as well, there are view as well. So we will be using log view later. So if you go here and put log and close, you will get the same log close here. Now your log is, so you have begin. So you have started your log file and you have closed it. Anything in between, any output in between is now saved in a file. What is the file name? Dr. Manoj Pandey _ log file, whatever. Okay. So you have that file there, and that file will have some sort of, you will be happy to see that file. Do you want to see that file? You have to view that file. So go to log, view and check where is that file. Here. Okay. Now this is the file that I created. Now there is an advantage of this log file. You know what? If you have difficulty in how to move it, yeah. There is an advantage of using this log file. Now suppose someone is working under you, okay? Right? I suppose I am your supervisor. What I will do? I will say you work in the log file. You know why? Because I know when you have opened this file, 6 March 2021, 18:27:31. This is Australian time, so 6:27:31. And I know when you closed it, 6 March 2021, 18:29. So you work only for 2 minutes. So if you ask me, sir, I work for like 10 hours, 20 hours, and then I got this output, I will say, no, don't try to be smart. I know you started 6:27 and you finished 6:29. Okay, you got it? So you will be caught. But then if you are also smarter than me, what you will do? You know what you will do? You will begin you will start your login and you will sit for 2 hours. You will leave it like this. And then after 2 hours, you just do something and then log close. Okay. So now you can cheat basically. So whether you are supervisor or whether you are you are working for supervisor or you are a student, you can play trick with this. But then if you are me, if I am you, still I can catch you, but I won't tell you how. Okay. So this is something you should get it from experience. All right. So the advantage of log file is that you have saved your output file as well for your future reference. So if after 10 years, 15 years, if you want to see, like, I run a regression, I did some descriptive statistics, and I'm not getting like that what I did. So you can go to file, you can open it, and then find out that you can view your this. I did nothing here because that was replaced. So I had just log in, log begin, and log close. I did nothing. Okay. But then if you have done something, you can always get to. Okay. So someone is asking, like, can you say once again, how can I start and save do file? Yes, it's easy. So you can do in two ways. Either you go in file and there is a do here, and then just like you have any name here and then open it. Sorry, you didn't find it. So it is a new file, right? So you can go to this. You have this one. Can you see this? No, it's quite small. Customize. Do I have font here? Okay, so I'm not going into this, but there is a called as new do file editor. If you click here, new do file editor, something sort of like this notepad will be open, and then you can start typing here, and then summarize, tab, foreign, something like that, and then you save it like just like a notepad or Word file. Okay, like this. I saved it. Now I again go to the same one and then open in the same way. Okay, just like a notepad. This one. Okay, and you will find it. So do file is basically some sort of like Word file or Excel file where you can, sorry, not Excel, Word file or Notepad, and where you can save your commands and you can write your program. Okay, and then your log file is your output file. So let me just quickly go to what I had put in the lecture slides, which I already did there. So it's a do. Okay. How to save past commands from review window in it. I have given step 1, step 2, step 3. You go right click, Control A, select all, and then click on send selected to do file editor, and so on. So if you follow this, you should be able to do it. If you want to see it like a new do file, do edit. Okay. Another way is also of like, suppose you don't have, you really forget this one. So you can just do like do edit, and then this file will open, and then you can write in this file. If you want to save it, select all, again right click, send selected to do file editor, and then you can save it like a Word file. So it's very intuitive, very easy to do it. You just need a practice, because if you do at the first time, it takes time, but I'm sure you all will be able to do it. If you know Excel, you can learn Stata, okay? Then log file is basically, log file is simply a record of your results window where you can retrieve the output and keep a record of your work. And then all these things I already show you, log using, we start with log file window, just type this, and then log close is the end. And then you have view, and then others like suspend. If you want to suspend in between, you want to pause it, you can have that. If you want to replace it, you can have that. If you want to view, translate, everything you can do in there, and you will find it. Okay, so just follow my lecture slides, and then you will be fine. Okay, there is another one called CMD log file. Okay, so CMD log file is also there, which you can learn from here. But the main important thing we already done. So because we are running out of time, I'll just quickly go through. So you can review your progress by if you know what are the salient features of Stata, what are the applications of Stata, what are the 4 major builds of Stata and state their purpose, what are the key features of Stata, advantage of using Stata, the latest version, what are some of the key features of latest version, and so on. Now, the last thing that I want to show you is that there is a stata.com. Make this friend. Okay, you will have everything. You don't need my lecture notes for that, because everything you will get there on the Stata website. It has product, right? So you can see a lot of videos, master your data, broad suite, Python integration. If you know Python, you can integrate it now. It's in the state. I think in 16 is there. I tried that. So easy to use, easy to grow with, and so on. And if you're interested, you can just like you ask question about do file, right? So I can say, where is this? How to make do file in Stata.
Sir, we will take the session.
Yeah.
Tomorrow we'll continue.
Yeah, we'll take this session. So basically, I just want to show you that you will have so much of material here, and you can do by yourself. So the link is there. Please, if you want to join, you can join this. Already 40 of you have joined here. You will have access to those materials which I have given, and then I will continue from here tomorrow. All right. So I will stop here. I will stop sharing my lecture now, and then yeah, over to you, Dr. Naidu. I'm done.
Thank you very much, sir. It's a very fruitful and enlightening session. Just over to you, Subhi. Yeah, I think she will.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
If anybody has any doubt, they can just type it in the chat box. And I would like to thank you so much, sir, for a valuable time. And it was very nice having you today. And after this, we will be having a 15 to 20 minutes break, and then we will restart with the workshop. Thank you.
So after this,
Thank
our
you,
studio will be there, right? Yeah, thank you
yes,
very
at
much. I might
1:15,
join in between just to
please.
show my presence. Otherwise, I'll see all of you tomorrow. So thank you very much for your patience, and hope you learn something new. Please give your feedback, and we will start tomorrow again from where we left. All right, so it's not end of the story. We are going to meet tomorrow as well. Thank you very much. And thank you, Shubhi and Dr. Naidu and everyone in the organizing team. It's I think it's a privilege to be part of this this group. In Australia and other parts, let me admit that we don't get 52 participants when we organize webinar or seminar. So it's only possible in India. So thank you all Indian students. Some of the students from Australia have also joined in this group. So thank you. Thanks to them as well for joining here. Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you so much.
Thank
sir.
you. Yeah, thank you very much. To announce